Hello, beautiful dear friends, and welcome to the Poddy C episode number 74 officially.
Unofficially.
Very good. God, you got jump scared by that one.
Haven't done that in a while.
The best podcast on the internet. We are joined by a very dear friend of ours, someone that I have known for at least a decade or so now.
Noob.
You've known him for a lot
2009.
longer.
2009 since I online met this lovely boy.
E-met.
Yeah, we definitely met, didn't we, Shogi? Back in the forum days. You miss those?
I don't, but I'm glad that they happened.
We are joined by Shogun, the voice of Rocket League, the man who does the Champions Field announcer, This is Rocket League Man, all of that good stuff. And we're actually, weirdly, and I don't know why, never had you on the podcast before, Show.
You've had me once.
I think we have. Didn't we do a fantasy team?
We did do a fantasy team at the start of, I think, season 8.
Good times.
Good lord.
Oh, yeah. I bet
There we
K-Dot was
go.
a big pickup then.
Pre-RLCS 9. There we go.
Man, I just remember those are really bad from me, so I think
February
somebody
1st,
when someone's having some
2020.
takes, we got to find out who said what and who was going to be bad.
I mean, what I remember is that we agreed that we wouldn't change our fantasy teams all season, and then I finished 3rd overall worldwide in the first week, and I was like, guys, can I change? I'm actually onto something here. And you guys said no. And then I didn't. And then I finished 3rd overall. No, my set and forget team finished 3rd, so no problem.
So that was February 1st, 2020. How was your COVID, Shogun?
Oh, mate, long. How was your COVID, Stumpy?
COVID was great. COVID was great for me. Yeah, a real career maker.
It was,
cheers.
actually.
Cheers, virus. Yeah, cheers. So, Show, we on this podcast, we like to talk about things outside of Rocket League. Usually, we had Jack on last week, which was a good time. Chatted to him about like moving and whatever else. And so, yeah, we'd like to kind of dive into Shogun the person a little bit more. Callum, Alex, and Emil. Yeah, that's right.
That's the forbidden side of my name. The one that no one dares speak.
You've got 3 in your name. You've got Callum, the, and Shogun. We can call
And
you
no
the
one
if you
dares. Yeah, I can be the.
Okay, all right, the. So obviously you have been streaming alongside all the RLCS for a very long time as well. How is streaming going for you? Because I think at the moment everyone seems to be kind of focusing a lot more on the streaming side of things. And you're kind of branching outside of Rocket League a little bit, especially with like Monster Hunter and stuff like that.
Yeah, so my stream's always just sort of been a thing to do more than anything else. Just like a little task, because as you guys will know, we have a lot of off time with this job, and I need goals, I need tasks just to not go crazy. I have no idea how some people just sort of disappear into the ether for a while. So it's not like the most successful thing ever. Although now I think I'm sort of trying to take it a bit more seriously and actually find some success with it. So, it's a fun
what's
thing.
changed for that then? Because I think of you streaming, I think of you doing whatever the hell you want. You're doing a
Which I love,
10-hour
it's so good.
listen along to Danganronpa, and if 3 people tune in, great, and if 3,000 tune in, great. You won't do it again. You've done that now. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's almost pure the way you stream, which I've always admired. So for you, what does taking it more seriously mean?
It's sort of been a thing over the last month or so of just trying to. I think I've tried every single thing possible over the last 8 years. So I just had to look through and just went, all right, what was the most successful stuff? And also, what did I enjoy the most doing? I.e., if it was successful, would I enjoy doing it for another 5 years after it was successful rather than being stuck to it? And like the tier listing stuff for Monster Hunter was very good fun, because you can make a tier list on anything. Tier lists are great because 1, they work, and 2, they are actually just fun to make.
What's your Cole and Stumpy tier list, Shogi?
Cole and Stumpy tier list. Cole, you go in C, and Stumpy goes in S.
Yes!
C!
Nothing to do with the letters.
I'm Cole, that is smart and annoying and insulting.
And you're
and
shitter
smart.
than me.
Oh.
Yeah, and you're shitter than me, unfortunately. But I
Do
mean,
you love when we get a caster tier list?
People like making tier lists on us as humans, which I think is quite interesting. Wherever, like, I think if you look at the subreddit and you see someone like criticizing a caster, it's like, I don't think I like this person because of this. It's like, well, that's not much of them. Like that's a tiny part of what that human being is. But I mean, I think being in the public eye kind of does that to you. And you've been in the public eye sort of a lot longer than we have as well. And the RLCS, if we kind of lightly dip into Rocket League, has kind of changed in a lot of ways ever since kind of the beginning. Getting into obviously this job, how was that for you to kind of properly dive back into it all?
Okay.
How was getting into the RLCS for you? Because you started off when, Cole used the word pure earlier. You started off when Rocket League was a pure little bubble of friendship, and people just wanted to play Rocket League and maybe earn 30 quid on a pack of quavers.
I think I got the second place in the most prize pool we ever had in Battle Cars, which was a £15 PSN voucher.
That's not bad.
Was that good?
It wasn't bad. No, I lost that one to AFN, which was Wrong Way Woody's brother on Cosmic 1v1. So I will always hold that one against him. But when we came over to Battle Cars, to Rocket League, wow, okay, I'm already getting this confused. I already decided coming in that I just didn't want to play. I am very competitive when I want to go all in competitive, and it's just not fun, typically. So I was like, okay, I'm going to find literally anything else I can do in the scene, and that was going to be content creation. And then I think it was Marky that turned around and just went, hey, Shogun, can we get somebody from our scene into the commentary space who sort of knows what about our history, about what we've done. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll give it a go. Ended up playing some tournaments at the same time, which gave me a little bit of credibility. So we did that. That was the week that we beat SK Gaming. And I was like, all right, cool. As soon as I beat the number one team in the world, I am out of here. And I'm leaving at my peak.
So was that when... What was that with a? I forgot the name. The RLC. Was that with RLC Rocket League Central, or was that
I started off with Freezing Wolves for the Gfinity Elite stuff.
Freezing Wolves.
That's an old throwback.
Those were long
What a
days.
guy.
You'd be casting like 5 hours, and none of us knew what pacing was or how to relax. It was just players hitting the ball.
I remember
it's
that
20-0.
That was the first thing you ever taught me, because the first time I cast was at an Insomnia. Literally the first time I ever cast. Maybe because I know Sumpy, your first time casting was on a 24-hour stream drunkenly with Shogun.
Shogun, yeah. In my uni bedroom.
So obviously this is our story. I'm sure we'll touch on that one in some podcast in the future. But I remember when I was at Insomnia, it was with you, Shogun, and I did the thing of, and here we go, it's kickoff. They both hit the ball goes into the corner. Someone scores. It's 1-0 in game one. Oh my god! And the first thing I remember, the first piece of advice you ever gave me was just easy.
Shut the fuck
up. You
are
ginger
mate.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I needed that ego check. But yeah, no, that pacing is the first thing you taught me. So I take it you learnt that one the hard way.
Especially us early on, the problem with being a play-by-play caster early on is that the first thing you'd ever get complimented for is your energy. And then you decide, oh, mate, I've got more energy, trust me. And they go, no, stop. So you need to get over the fact of, okay, so yes, I've been noticed because I've got plenty of energy to provide and plenty of hype. Now I've got to place it at the right time rather than trying to double it and then double it and then double it at all times, because then you just get loud noises, which is what a lot of my season 2, season 3 casting
and shaky hands.
I'm
not going into what happened before that happened. I'm not going into what happened before that happened. There are good reasons why I was shaky.
I'd like to, Cole, you said about talking about, the first time you casted. I think it's fun. The first time that I ever casted was with both of you, by the way. And it's also the first time I met a Shogun. It's probably the most unhinged way I've ever met a human in my life, because I went to university in Cambridge. Very important, in Cambridge.
Anglia-Ruskin, shout out.
Yeah, not at Cambridge. And Cole, just by sheer chance, happened to also live in the same city. You probably lived like, 20 minutes from me? 15-minute walk away?
I can't remember where I lived at the time. I think
you lived over by the uni. The other side of uni to me.
I did live there at some point. I also lived in Newmarket at some point around then, but certainly that area, that drain was circling itself, yeah.
Yeah, I was one side of the uni over, and people know Cambridge, I was just off Mill Road, which a lot of students are, just past the bridge, and then Cole was like the other side of the uni over towards, I don't know where it is now, like near the Asda and whatever, like kind of that way, like
near
from
Pepe's and Little Tesco.
Yeah, that was it. Pepe's, Little Tesco, and also WT's, the pool place.
Yes, shout out WT's.
Shout out WT's, great pool place. And yeah, by sheer chance, then we were just like, you know what? Yeah, we'll do a 24-hour stream. So we were streaming together at that point. I don't remember, Show, how you ended up getting invited Like,
Oh yeah.
I
think it
I
was just-
assume we just said
definitely
to you.
from Cole.
I assume
again?
we said, "Do you want to come?
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Do you fancy it?"
Yeah, do you want to head on over? Because I think I just finished my first RLCS weekend as we did that, so
Nice.
I was just sort of there, I guess.
At a loose end, yeah. And
a loose end.
I was rocking up to then the Cambridge train station, and I was like, I've never met a Shogun before. I chatted to you like obviously a few times.
Yeah.
And then I was like, right, yeah, we'll just like spend 24 hours awake together on stream. That sounds good. You rocked up with your purple headphones, the little bubble headphones,
the ear
little
prolapses.
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 Little prolapses. Walked then, to my uni house, and my housemates, I don't think knew how loud all three of us were going to be for about 24 hours. Because we filled in my tiny little bedroom. We then, I think Doomsy was playing in a tournament.
Because
What
Cole
was it?
wrote.
RLCS?
No, it would have been a Gfinity because Cole
Gfinity.
had his name written on his stomach.
Backwards. The S was
no.
backwards.
Only a part of it. It was Doom 2E.
Doom 2E and the lads.
Yeah, he put the S the wrong way round, but
Yep. We were very drunk during this 24-hour stream. We had did we have treat stream set up at that point? Was that when people
did.
were sending us pizza
We
and
got
stuff
sent
and
a
like
pizza.
chicken?
Shout Ishima.
Ishima
Ishima
Shout
bought us a
out
pizza.
Ishima.
It's the first time
Yeah.
we'd ever received food. And we were actually ahead of our time, Shogi, because we essentially were doing a watch party of the Gfinity, not Elite Series, but whatever tournament that was, because it was the grand
Some
finals.
weekly, yeah.
We were watching Doomsy in it, and then Doomsy
Yeah.
won, and I told myself, like, Doom 2E!
That was nice. Yeah, because then they ended up raiding us afterwards. They loved it. It was a good time. But yeah. So that was my first time casting, smashed off my face, was with Shogun, and that was really lovely. And I think I think that's what I mean by like the pure Rocket League. Like everyone's just kind of there to have a good time. Everyone's there to have fun. Like it wasn't obviously there's a lot more corporate nowadays, a lot more red tape and whatever. But I do think that like out of every esport, I don't know if you guys agree, it's kind of kept that essence of like the people still at the center of it. It's still the same people there. Although there's a lot of like that corporate like bubble wrap kind of around it and the Epic Game stuff and the Blast and whatever. There's still a lot of the original kind of vibe that went on in Rocket League. And I think we get that when we get talent that kind of work outside of Rocket League and then come with us. Another like Vrasti, for example, she has said like Rocket League's one of her favorite esports to work on because we are all just friends. Like outside of it, we'll be like, yeah, let's all just like go to the pool. Like, and we'll like go and like hang out places, or let's go and go to the bar together. Whereas a lot of other esports don't do that. I don't know, Sho, if you've kind of felt that kind of community side of it with the players and with like talent and whatever. Kind of has that kind of stayed the same ever since the very first season, 3, whatever it was, 2, 3, whenever you started. Has it kind of kept that same core vibe to it?
I'll say for like my part alone, I've never really wanted to get into like the hyper competitive outside. Like I'll be competitive in terms of I want to do my job as well as possible. Outside of that, like I'm just gonna go and chill with people and enjoy it. And I think that vibe's kind of transcended to everybody as well throughout the years of. Yeah, sure. Let's go and do what we can. If you can get a certain event, a certain grand finals, you got it off merit. Congratulations. And I think that's what we do very well compared to other esports, where there's no, darn you, why did you get this and I didn't? It's, for you guys doing I think it was your first finals was in Boston. And me and Johnny are just like, let's go. We're chilling for the rest of the day. We can go and relax now and have you guys enjoy that. So I think there is just a lot of support because we know everyone's going to get opportunities. So we don't need to step on each other's toes because there is going to be a chance there.
I think that I think I speak for me and some people when I say that in all seriousness, because obviously we take the piss out of each other because of mates, stuff like that. I think that we owe you and Johnny a lot of gratitude because a lot of people in the position that you guys were in, especially in RLCS X, we've heard stories from other esports where, as you say, people get like it written into their contract, like, I'll do the grand final, no one else can. I'm the one. It's like, what?
Very weird.
It's like, okay. But there was a period, again, through merit, where you and Johnny were doing every final, and you very easily could have capitalized on that and made yourselves the final guys. But I know for a fact that you guys made a point of saying it's odd that we're doing every final. It separates them all in people's heads. And I know that you pushed for me and Stumpy and for Daz and Stacks and for whoever else, other voices to be there on that podium. So yeah, thank you for that. And I'm very fortunate that you have seen it that way, Shogi.
That was season X, wasn't it? Where how many finals was there throughout that season? There would have been about 13
9,
just
and then
for the
majors.
region.
Yeah.
Too fucking
Yeah.
many.
There would have
Loads.
been 3
lots of
regionals, 3 major, well, 9 regionals, 3 majors, and then the world final thing.
That was 3
That's
best of
too
7
many.
sets.
Like, it shouldn't require us to turn around and just go, yeah, we shouldn't do that many. So we were happy just to, spread that out. Because
For what it's worth, me and Stumpy would have. We'd have been like, yeah, no, I don't really want to hear Shogun and Johnny do the finals. It's
Yeah,
Cole and Stumpy's
sorry,
thing,
man.
sort of. So you're better people than
yeah,
us.
so there's a pecking order around here. I don't know if you've heard about it. But even from like a selfish standpoint, it works out better for us as well, because if you do it all the time, people get sick of you. So if you spread it out and you become a little bit more rare on it, not that we ever actually have become rare on this sort of stuff, but if it's all the time, people are going to go, well, why doesn't anyone else get a chance? And if you are giving those opportunities up and then coming in a little bit less often, people go like that. It's more, oh, let's go. Okay, they're on this one.
Yeah, I think it definitely like comes down to the people in charge as well, ultimately trusting us. For that, like a few events where there's been, us saying, we don't think it should be this way, and we will kind of like push against it, or somebody will say, I'm going to suggest an alternative, almost like sort of that very kind of like, love what you're doing here, but let's change all of it. So we think that it should, instead of this, let's change it to this. And credit to multiple companies, not just like Epic or Blast or whatever, multiple companies being like, all right, yeah, cool, you guys know what you're doing, like that's fine, like we'll absolutely trust you on that. To kind of veer away then from the RLCS side of things.
Yeah, we went to work for a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Fuck off the work stuff. Show you. I'd like to dive into your personal life a little bit more.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, let's dive into that. So you are currently living in. Do we say where you live? I always get really weird about it. Norwich.
Well, I think it's known that it's Norwich.
To be fair,
I wasn't going to say your address.
I'd also be weird about saying I lived in Norwich for the record, so I get that one.
Fair.
You don't want to announce that.
Yeah, that's valid. But yeah, so you live in Norwich, and yeah, so you're currently living with your 2 wonderful cats. How is that? Like, obviously, you're just like you're vibing with the cats. You've got the unbelievable gamer setup behind you, the most like streamer vibe that I've seen.
The most. It only works from this angle. God, I wish this wasn't in my bedroom. Please earn enough money to get another room.
But yeah, how is that? Obviously, like living in a city and being able to kind of basically do your own thing the entire time.
I'm about as bachelor as they come at the moment, aren't I? So it's great. I'll be real. I did the typical thing of not thinking I was going to be able to look after a cat. And then you get a cat and realize, okay, this is actually really easy. Like, it just looks after itself. But Chloe and Boop, I mean, they complement each other very well.
Great names.
Yeah, I gave one of them a normal name, and I was like, oh, that one's got a spot on its nose.
Cool, that's your personality from now on.
It's even better if I try and boop her, she goes, no.
Well, we've seen them on the RSS a few times as well, and they're very affectionate. I've woken up at one point to them, one of them sniffing my eyes,
that would be
or
Boop,
chewing my eyebrows.
Yeah. According to Wavepunk, Boop tried to chew away his ear, so
amazing.
Yeah, they're so affectionate. Boop especially literally just goes, oh, that's a new person. Will they fuss me? Will they give me attention right now? She's never going to protect me if somebody tries to break into this house. Chloe might, but Boop just wants fuss from it, and then she'll be like, yeah, do whatever you want. Take what you want. You've paid the toll.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Cole, you're the only person here then without a cat.
I know. I want a cat. There's allergies in Linnea's families, so it would basically mean that if we
very big cat allergies.
Well, you're gonna die then, mate.
No. Now I'm fine. Like genuinely, I've had to the point where when I was a kid, we had to get rid of a cat because I was so allergic. And even now, if I go to anybody else's house, like Shogun's or whatever, I have to have 2 kinds of antihistamines to make sure that like it covers all bases of cats, right? Just in case. But now with Juno, my fiance's cat, she I'm not allergic to her whatsoever, just because I just have lived with her for so long now that my body's like, fucking get over it. Like, it's a cat,
it's more for visiting though. You know, if people come over, they will just go, and their eyes will bleed for 24 hours. But I am sad about that, and I do love cats very much. So I was more than happy to play with Boop. I think I got on with Boop better than you did, Stumpy, when we came over to Shogun's last.
That's when I didn't have a cat as well. So
was that
I've never been
cats?
used to them. Yeah, I've never been used to cats because I've been so allergic to them. Whenever I go to someone's house, I've always been like, I'm gonna stay away from the cat because
which means it loves you.
I have to try and stay as allergyless as possible, which then means that because I'm not making eye contact, because I'm not making fuss, they're like, I want your approval, please.
Yes.
And they will come over. And I think definitely Boop she got that message of like, oh, you're not fussing me, but you will.
Meanwhile,
eventually you'll give the attention.
Meanwhile, I was there with like a clown hat on a little toy train going, please love me, Boop. And she was like, anyway, Stumpy, you're boring.
I'll get to you.
How was it trying to introduce the cat and the dog together? Because that's always something I've been worried about.
Yeah, it was a time. So Enzo, as you guys know, he's quite a reactive dog. He's a rescue from Romania. If anybody doesn't know, bless him. He's been diagnosed with anxiety. He's a weird little boy. He's like German Shepherd size. He's a big dog. And he's never lived with a cat before. He's never lived with a dog before. Doesn't like dogs very much. He's got like some friends that he doesn't really see anymore because I've moved since. And then he's got people that he met when he was a puppy that he likes. But apart from that, it takes like a good while to get someone used to him. Like 3 or 4 walks, and then I'll let him sniff them kind of thing. Like it takes a long time. So getting him used to a cat was, I think, probably the biggest piece of training that I've ever had to do. And it literally took like 6 months. Because it was when me and Anna like lived apart. And so I came up like a few times, or like loads of times, and then I'll take a few of her toys, and then of Juno's toys, and put them in the car, and then I'd then give Juno a load of Enzo's toys or a blanket or whatever, and then leave that in the house. And so Juno could then get his smell, and then he could get her smell, and then wouldn't see each other for like 2 weeks or so, and then I'd then see her again, and we'd then swap them back over, and did that for like months, and like just trying to get used to the smells. Then when Enzo then knew what her smell was, he would then see her and be like, oh, I associate her with this smell, and I know that smell is now harmless. I know it's not a thing. It's not that's not another sense that I need to be worrying about. That's not ringing alarm bells. And then it was like a case of introducing them through like the back patio door, where they'd see each other just through the glass, no smells. And then Enzo, bless him, was going like mental in the garden, like, there's a fucking cat in there. What the hell is that?
Were you improvising with this, or was this based on advice that you either Googled or asked a dog expert?
I looked at like YouTube tutorials and stuff. I also asked, shout out to Kaylee, because Kaylee I DM'd her because she got her dog, May, a German Shepherd, used to, I think, 1 or 2 cats, however many it was. And she basically gave me loads of advice, and I was like asking her questions, and she was giving a load back. She's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, shout out Kaylee, for giving me the advice of, do it, honestly, just so bit by bit, like to the point where I'd come over for the weekend, Enzo would be in the living room, and we'd put Juno in the kitchen, and then after literally every hour, we would then put Enzo upstairs in the bedroom, shut the door, open up the kitchen, and then Juno would then come out. She'd go mental for it. She'd sniff everything in the house, being like, there's been a bloody dog in here. Where the hell is he?
Big one.
And she'd like look everywhere, and they'd like sniff under the door at each other, and Enzo would start barking, so then he can hear a thing. And then, it took time and time and time. And then it was a case of, okay, now I'm going to have Enzo on his lead in the living room. And then Juno's going to be on Anna's lap, but she'd have to stay on the sofa. We did that for like a month. And then Enzo would then go back upstairs. And it was like this, bit. And then it was then, okay, I'm now going to have Enzo sit down and then give him a little bit of chicken. And then see me give Juno a little bit of chicken as well. And dogs are a lot more like, food, eat. Like they'll have it straight away. Cats they'll sniff it probably for about not that long, like 5 seconds or so. But that was enough to just annoy Enzo, I think. He was like, why aren't you fucking eating it? You're delaying my chicken time. What's happening? So he ended up having to get used to the patience of it, and then seeing her, then seeing me fuss her, and whatever else. And it was literally like
the jealousy.
Then it was jealousy of then me giving attention to another living being. and then her jumping on stuff. Even now, like if she jumps on stuff, he might cry and be like, I still don't quite get it. But I'm like, no, shut up, go to bed, you'll figure it out, it's okay. The best thing is though, Juno is such a bitch that she is so like headstrong that she rules the roost. And I think people like say that about cats, where they're like, oh yeah, they'll end up like you know, ruling the house, whatever. He is more scared of her than she is of him, to the point where like he's eating his food and she'll go up and like jump up and headbutt him like while he's eating and like rub herself on him, and Enzo will growl and she'll literally look at him like, yeah, all right, and then keep rubbing herself on him.
Nothing.
Yeah, because she's got claws, like 4 sets of them, and like he, bless him, was like growled at her, and she'll kind of like sometimes get the hint, but sometimes if she's like, no, I do want to play, she'll just be rubbing herself all over him, jumping on his head, whatever else. So yeah, it takes a hell of a lot of time. But ultimately, I think it kind of comes down to that like really like long patience, and stuff's gonna go wrong, and it's gonna, you know, you're gonna have to slow it down. We introduced him a little bit too early. Now we have to go back a month and whatever else. Yeah, it probably took 6 months to a year to kind of get them to the point of just when we left them in the house alone for the first time. Now, literally, like they're in the house together doing whatever. When we left them in the house alone for the first time, we went out for like 20 minutes just to the shop, and we were like, let's just see how it goes. And we came back and we were like, cat might be dead.
Yeah.
let's see what's happening.
Is it a cloud of fur that I'm coming back home to?
And is it going to be Enzo's or will it be Juno's? Because it truly could be either.
So, based on that answer, Shogun, does that encourage you to buy a puppy? Is that where you were
No,
going with
no,
this?
no,
with that
no,
question?
sorry.
I'd love to meet Showpop. I'm ready.
I'm good about Showpup. I think like I would love to get. I'm definitely more of a dog person anyway. Mm-hmm. It's just living where I'm at doesn't make sense to get a dog. It would be unfair on the dog.
Harder.
Yeah. I feel like if you're gonna get a dog, it has to have a lawn to be able to just go to. You know, it wants out. Cool, go out for a little bit.
I agree.
I mean, you got a balcony. I mean, the dog could, you know, exist.
I finally started trusting the cats on the balcony. It took them a little while to realize, oh no, full equals hurt. Don't really want to go that way.
Have you been
terrified
on the balcony
to have cats on the balcony?
They're only usually out there if I'm around. I'm not going to open up the door and then head in here. And just,
yeah.
All right, cool.
Off the stream.
Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed. You've also got that little bit of hallway by yours that only you go into.
They love it.
So you could just put the dog in there for a wee. It can wee on the carpet. It's
get a little puppy pad.
Just get 5 dogs.
Honestly, 5 dogs and then lock the door, and then the strongest dog will win.
True. That's what I should do with the cats as well. Somehow Boot would come out on top, actually. Like, we wouldn't know how. Never saw him move once.
Yeah,
but have you seen the videos of Luigi wins by doing nothing? That's how Boot would win.
That's so cool. Has it inspired you to maybe look into getting a cat apart from the allergies and stuff?
It's mainly the allergies. I would love one. No, but he's a terror with cats, honestly. He's just never experienced
but
one.
That's outside cats, though. Enzo still does that with outside cats.
Fair. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I would like a cat. I'll bring it up. We'll see. Maybe next podcast.
Just antihistamines are cheap at Lidl. Like, it's fine. They're about
They're
AVP.
strong as well.
They're really strong.
Let's crush them up. Let's snort them. Which explains why Shogi had shaky hands.
Another 24-hour stream.
24-hour stream with Shogun. Oh my god. Well, tell you what, actually, I'd like to talk about, it kind of veers a bit more towards the RLCS again, but talking about kind of hanging out together for a long period of time, the Raleigh Major. We're doing a view party, all of us. Shall I say where it is? I've been like kind of holding off, or shall I keep the location not a thing?
How locked it? So I've not really been involved too much on the organisation of this. I just say yes
this
to whatever's
is my baby.
Put in there. Are we locked for this now?
Yes, we are
Okay,
locked.
good.
Say it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not going to say where it is because will people be weird?
No.
Okay.
We're not that interesting, mate.
No, that's fair. All right. Well, shout out therefore to Endpoint. We are hosting our Raleigh View Party at the Endpoint HQ. They've got a full studio setup. Shout out to Pete for sending us loads of pictures. And yeah, we've got a full studio setup. We're going to have 2 sofas. We're going to have a fridge full of like beers and ciders and like wine or whatever, a load of Red Bull and stuff. Yeah, we'll have one can of cider. Yeah. And yeah, we're going to be doing a full view party. And honestly, I'm just excited to hang out with.
I mean,
Should I bring the mixing set
I was
with
going
me?
to say, Shogi, because a big hobby of yours to keep it Shogi-centric
Alcoholism.
is mixology.
Yeah.
So we could get some cocktails on the go. But yeah,
We
how's
could.
how's that passion going for you as well, in general,
It's
as well
slowed up a
as
lot,
in the
actually.
context of Sheffield?
It's probably a good thing that it's slowed up, but it has slowed up a little bit. I'm
Just
not
3
really.
or 4 a day now.
Yeah, just for a day
Keep
or
Shogi
two.
shake your hands away.
Oh, that's the caffeine, mate. I've never had like sort of straight hands. They've always been quite shaky. Obviously, the arms put up a little bit, but I'd love to do some mixology whilst I'm over there. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great fun.
We could have a wheel of ingredients, and if people then do gift subs or whatever, we can then spin the wheel, and then say for every 5 subs or something, or 3 subs, it
10,
can then you
50.
do a 50 subs.
So I don't
spin
think
the wheel,
we can
and it then
do
gets
that
an
because of
ingredient.
Twitch rule. Like Twitch rules, you're not allowed to drink 4 subs.
Oh, are you not?
No,
Okay.
I think that's a thing. But
Bits then.
we could definitely figure out a way of doing it.
Patrons?
There's also
Money.
I've seen some YouTube shorts where they'll have somebody blindfold them to see, and they'll lift up a drink and just go, all right, do you want it in there or not? And they'll just say
I've
yes
seen
or
this,
no.
yeah. Have you seen that with the blenders? Where they do
Yes.
a mystery smoothie. Carl, have you seen this?
No, I've not seen the blenders.
It's like 2 guys sitting next to each other, again, blindfolds on, and they'll lift up an ingredient, obviously they can't see it, and they go, do you want this? Sometimes it's like cake or grapes or something. And other times it's just flour or something. Or it is, it's just not
So
proper
Dirty
food.
Pint Simulator 2K25.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, we could do that, but that'd be fun to be able to, like I said, it's going to be a good chance just to hang out with the boys. It's going to be vibes. It's going to be, me, Cole, Shogun, and Johnny all hanging out I think we're going to do the entire major. I did look at the starting time for it. It's 6 p.m. our time it starts, by the way.
Yeah, we're going late on a few of these days, so
It's a really late day.
that Saturday and Sunday is gonna be long.
We're going to have the entire Friday
Oh,
working
I forgot
hours.
about the
yes,
Swiss
it's
that we just throw all of it
fucked.
on one stream now, don't we?
Yeah,
allowed
exactly.
to
Yeah, it's
nap?
all on one stream.
Are you a napper, Shogi? I nap more than you at events. You have a nap at
No,
events?
if I nap, I'm not sleeping. There's just no in between.
Hang on. Oh,
Right,
as in
no.
later
A
on.
nap and a proper sleep are different
Do you
things.
know what a nap is?
You get what I mean. All right, if I nap for an hour, I'm awake for another 6 at that
Really?
night time. It'll add so much extra on to me. So my sleep
play.
pattern has always just been, I'm awake, no, I'm asleep. It's an on-off switch.
Oh, no, I love a nap. I think at events,
I love a nap as well.
at Dusseldorf, I think on the last couple of days, I didn't really realise I was gravely ill. And so I basically slept in, did a death segment, and then I had a nap for 10 minutes. And I was like, right, back to the desk. And kind of carried on with that.
All I've heard after Dusseldorf is that obviously Johnny was ill on the last few days of that. And then after everyone went over to EWC, he was suddenly the one that was not ill anymore, and everyone else was. I heard poor Chimako had a...
Oh,
Chimaka was the
difficult
most
time.
ill human I've seen in my life that was not in a hospital bed. Because that was on the final day, I think it was, or on Saturday or something. And I was on the desk, and I just remember hearing Chimaka's throwing up, just delay. And I was like, what do you mean?
that's of
What?
Hercules, right? It was going to be?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was Herc's doing interviews and whatever, and we basically said, oh, can we, again, this is on the EWC for letting us do this, we said, oh, can we have her cast, because she really wanted to. And they were like, yeah, that's fine, absolutely. And her first cast was going to be with Chimako.
Oh, no.
And then he just went, be right back, and just went and threw his guts up. And so, in between the throw from the desk, she needed a stand-in caster. So as soon as the camera cut, we had it wasn't headsets like this. This would have been super easy. It was the ones where they kind of loop over
they're
your
so
ears,
annoying.
and then they're it's a little thin mic that goes down the side of your face, and then it clips onto the back of your shirt, and then goes onto a battery pack and whatever else. So I was pointing to the guy, and I was like, I can't take this off. I'll be back on desk after the series, but I'm keeping it with me. He looked pissed off at me, but I
turn
just
it off.
started running. So I then ran out the room, joined her, and she was because she also hadn't seen any of the mixing stuff that we had. So all of the where you can mute, you change all the levels and whatever. She hadn't seen any of this. We'd been spoken through, and so we ended up saying to her, I'll go in there. I was like, right, I'll catch. You talk, and I'll adjust things. And she was like, okay. And bless her, Chimaka walked in drenched. He's got long hair, bless him as well, and that hair was wet from sweat. And he was like, I'm good to go. I was like, No, you're not.
You're not.
No, you're absolutely not, Jamako.
Take the paycheck and run, Jamako.
Yeah, so I was like, get out, go and rest. You're getting paid the same anyway. Don't worry about it. I appreciate, you get yourself into that casting headspace, but you've just thrown up 3 days worth of food. Just go and lay down somewhere. And I think then he was like, okay, fine.
I know it is keeping it on the work thing, but I do think people will be quite interested to hear about this. And Cole, I'm curious about what you think on this one, which is my favorite part about the job is when everything goes wrong. When it is an absolute everything is burning. I can only be a positive influence right now. I can only save this.
You've got some good stories of that. I know you've told us this story.
I feel like I want to hear yours though.
What, my thought of it or my horror stories?
Well, have you had to save oh no, it's all burning?
I don't think I've had to save, oh no, it's all burning. I've caught stuff before that was going to go wrong. So last time Something and I were at Esports World Cup, they had us casting Neymar playing Rocket League for the first time in a 2v2, and we said he's not going to touch the ball, it's going to be boring. So we suggested that they switch it to...
It was him and a pro.
Him and Musty, I think it was.
Yeah, him and Musty versus another footballer and...
the owner of Falcons.
That was it, yeah. And we were just like, well, they'll just fly. And then Neymar doesn't touch the ball, and then he's annoyed. I feel
like we have to explain that one a lot to producers, don't we? Of person that hasn't played this game before will not be close to the ball. It's not going to be entertaining.
In Call of Duty, at least, if Neymar played it, he's played that a lot more. But if he played that for the first time, he'd at least get a hit marker on someone. There'd still be something happening.
There would be movement from it. They can still run around at the same pace. I feel like Rocket League has the most visual difference.
But to answer your question, I do also enjoy when things go terribly wrong. One of the main things I wanted to bring with me when I joined the RLCS was not skate over it. It's funny, it's happened, let's make a joke about it. Do you know what I mean? When production has gone all blurry recently, the thought of not mentioning that if I spot it fills me with dread. What's happened here? That's all you need to... You don't have to be a dick about it, but just sort of... we're firm believers, Stumpy, aren't we, in lampshading? Lampshading can be king. And I also, it's also the fun. It's the best content when things go slightly wrong. I'm sure any producers listening to me right now are hating everything I'm saying.
Didn't you two have to save near 20? You had a series recently where it just kept breaking and then you come back in.
Carmine Corp.
Yeah, Gentlemates vs K Corp, and
it's fun, man.
Because also it's one of the ones where you don't know when it's going to come back, and neither does production. So production are thinking the entire time: should we go to break, which is a very fair thing to think, or should we stick it out because it might just be 2 minutes, and then we're delaying the series for no reason, right? And so they're kind of constantly going. But as soon as you get past that 10-minute mark, you're then thinking, oh, we could be in this for 40 minutes. This could be fixed in 10 seconds time or half an hour. There's no line with this. But again, that's where you're constantly getting fed information by production. And bless him, our producer, mentioned him before, Johan, he's a lovely Swedish man. And God, we take the piss out of him. Because he
can take it.
He takes it. And also he takes the piss then back out of us. And whenever he gets stressed out, it's really fun to then act as if it's maybe either the worst thing that's kind of going on, or just, guys, all right, here goes the fourth wall, we're in it together. We also have no idea what's going on. I remember the first proper one we had, Cole, was at Fort Worth, the first one, where we had the infamous Sipical disconnect, because that motherfucker never bought a new cable. Right? He never had a new cable for that goddamn controller. And so he kept disconnecting in every series. I still maintain he should have been DQ'd at some point.
At some point he should be.
It really annoyed me. But there was a goal that went in quite late in a series, and it was game 6 or something, and they were it might have been the goal that, they lost. And Sip basically completely disconnected. And we had to stop and vamp for 10 minutes and just talk about what's going on. Meanwhile, players are looking at their controller. They're looking at their
what's going on?
Whatever. Yeah. And then I remember seeing the 3 horsemen of the apocalypse, Corey, Ian, and Scheist, walk over to us with an explanation, because they'd looked at the game logs and they looked at whatever else was going on. And they said to us, it was wildcard, yeah. And they said, you need to say this exact wording. I'm going to say it to you, and you're going to repeat it back to me. And because it was such like a specific rules thing.
This is all right, we have a legal thing right here.
Precisely, yeah. It was like, we've looked at a PDF and this is what you need to say. Like, there was that kind of vibe. And I was very stressed because that was my first Worlds as well. So I was like stressed out about it. Like, okay, yeah, I'll remember. And then a couple of things you caught like from the break or whatever. And then I then didn't even listen to what you'd said. You said, and some people what's going on. And I just repeated like, word for word.
Telecoms controller has been disconnected at 2 minutes.
Literally like a
in.
robot. Yeah. But I do like when things go wrong. And then, because again, that's that kind of the nice side of things where like, okay, everyone's in it together. We're all here. We're all here to watch an esport.
We're all loving it.
So exactly,
Shogi, what's your Formula One X Rocket League story involving things?
No, I'm not going into
wrong?
that. That one's too long for this.
Give us a run. Tell me where they can listen to it, because I know that is my go-to things going wrong story.
Is this Lando? Or is this a different thing?
No, this is the Formula One NASCAR one.
I genuinely don't think I know
You
this.
genuinely don't? Oh,
I don't think I do.
I'm not even trying to set you up here.
I'll give you the Cliff Notes
Give
version.
us the 3-minute version.
Yeah, I'll give you the Cliff Notes. So, start off that day, met up with Show Dad. Wanted to go back, and then couldn't come back on the train line because somebody was on the train line. And then very sharply was not on the train line. So
I didn't know that bit.
I was a bit delayed. Messaged my dad just like, hey, could you give me a lift back to Norwich?
Okay.
He had to message his supervisor. It was like, yeah, so my son's working with Sergio Perez on the next 2 hours. Can I take him home? He was like, yeah, cool. All right, go and talk with Czech, because at least he knew who it was. Got there. Well, all right. This is going to go great. Producers give us a script. This is me and Johnny working this. We go, we are not saying any of this. It's like, wow, NASCAR and Formula One. This is the greatest crossover since some American thing.
Yeah, okay.
Since
the Indy 500 meets the NFL.
Yeah.
Or something, yeah.
So we get started on the show. It's a bit of a catastrophe straight from the off. And then Johnny's microphone just dies. Like... His cable is like, you know when it's like this all the time, and Johnny, we can't work with this sort of thing. So Johnny's like sort of just giving me backup encouragement throughout all of this. And then we get to the end. The producers are like, Shogun, call for replay. All right, so let's have a look at the great work you've done. Players fantastic, by the way. They really helped us get through
So
this.
what players were in this? Like, what was the event?
Arsenal, I think, was in it. Musty, I believe. Like, there was, Nito. They did fantastic at, like, not taking over. Because, again, as you said earlier on, when you've got non-Rocket League players coming in, it tends not to work. That was the closest I think the players got to making it work.
Nice, yeah.
So we get to the end. I'm like, all right, well, let's have a look at the great work you all did and take a look at the replay. Okay, nothing really happened. Then I hear in my ear, Shogun, we asked you to throw the replay. Okay, so I'm gonna make the next one really obvious.
Oh, wait, so they didn't pick up on
They
your
wanted a hard
cue.
throw.
No.
Oh, I hate hard throws.
So let's have a look at the replay for what you guys did. Shogun, throw to replay. And I'm like, okay, I am steaming right now. I am actively saving this show the best I can. Johnny is out of here, and I'm trying to keep this going. We eventually get there, and then...
So how hard did they want the throw? Was it, let's cut to a replay? Is that literally what they wanted?
Didn't pick up on what... I think they were too busy asking me for replay to listen to when I was asking for replay.
But it's so hard throws where, like, so if everyone doesn't know, a hard throw is when you literally say, let's look at the video. Let's look at the replay. Let's see
Leaf saying,
the player
let's have a look
counts.
at the leaderboards for the season.
Exactly, yeah. Whereas what we do quite well on RLCS, again, because we've known the producer for a long time, is we say, you know, these teams are in fantastic standings at the moment, and at that point, you will then see the leaderboard come up, and then Wavepunk can then say, you know, Carmine Corp, they're currently at the top of the table, whatever it is. So yeah, so it's soft throw versus hard throw, and we pretty unanimously hate a hard throw because it's so unnatural.
We do. I think a lot of times we just tell Johan, like, just throw the thing up there. We'll transition into, like, I prefer it just to happen than anything else. We get to the end of this show, and I'm like, all right, let's just wrap this up now. One final call to, like, do the, you know, go and buy this pack. Where, you know, this, and this. I bring this up. I say, okay, so if you want to go buy the pack, you can do this here. Shogun, could you talk about the pack before we wrap up? Oh my God! Stop it! Johnny Boy, bless him, had 3 hours after this show of me just ranting. And him with his dead microphone going, yeah, mate, I'm really, it was just pretty bad.
So were you like solo casting the event in the end? Or like solo hosting?
I was effectively solo hosting whilst Johnny Boy was on camera. He was just sort of...
Oh, Johnny Boy was still on camera?
Well, yeah.
I've always thought this was remote. This was in person.
No, this was remote.
Oh, okay. Okay, but his webcam was still working, even if his mic wasn't.
His webcam...
Get rid of him! Why is he there?
With Johnny Boy
so
frumpy
weird.
smile.
But that one was fun. The better side of this is, again, dealing with Johan. Because Johan, you can just... You can make panic for no reason.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first Dallas final going into where like the
countdown.
The countdown went hot. They start the countdown, they press the button, and I think it was Jane Apps was like, yeah, I can see the light on my monitor. And he's like, no, I can't undo pressing the button.
Yeah, the button's been pressed, the sequence is gone, and then everybody, you would have seen the RLCS Grand Finals, really cool intro, hype video, phenomenal. BDS versus G2, the best video that we've had. And then, it was just 10, 9, 8, 3, 2, 1, goes to the ball. You then hear Jorby say, we've got a technical pass here.
You can't go,
and it's me, Stumpy, and Craftman upstairs in the VIP area, losing our minds. How funny this was.
It was so funny. Yeah, I loved it. But I think there's so many of these things that also go completely unnoticed because either we skip over them or, whoever it is ends up, whatever talent is on camera, is able to just work with it. And it ultimately ends up in fantastic shows. And we've spoken to a fantastic show here today.
Oh, what a transition.
There you go. Thank you, Shogun, for having a little chat with us. Incredibly loose format, just a chat with the boys for 45 minutes. But a lovely time. Show, obviously, we were saying earlier on that you are streaming a load and you're putting out shorts. Plug all your socials. Shogun, throw to socials. What socials are there, Shogun?
Callum the Shogun. YouTube. Callum the Twitter. Callum the Shogun. Instagram. TikTok. It's Callum the Shogun. You'll find me quite easily.
Huge. Love
what
that.
What are you up to at the moment, Shogun? Before we let you go, what's the plan now over the next sort of couple of weeks? Because I know you take your fitness seriously.
I'm going to get my hair done in like an hour. Finally.
Ooh, you're going to post a tweet. Post a little tweet of your haircut when it's done. I did that.
I will. I'll get the mohawk.
Like an influencer.
Nice, that is very influencer of you. I need to get
my hair like the reverse bald spot where the only part of my hair I leave left is the bit right there.
That sounds good to me.
I think you'd love having that bit of your hair still existing, so that's nice.
True.
Thank you, Sho, for hanging out. Lots of love. And that is episode number 74 of the Poddy C. Make sure that you follow, and please make sure that you also rate it on Spotify, on, I don't know, does fucking iTunes exist? I don't even know. Whatever your...
Apple Podcast Tunes, I think they call it nowadays.
Tunes. Just rate it on all those things. Super helpful. Drop a comment if that's a thing on podcasts, or if you're on YouTube also, make sure you give it a like and a subscribe as well. But thank you, Sho, and we'll see you in episode number 75. Goodbye.